Let's roll into
Okay.
the intro. Um, hey, welcome to the Way Forward podcast. My name is Dennis. I run a business called The Way Forward, and I help small businesses build systems to stop losing time and money. Michael?
My name is Michael, and I like to call myself a techno optimist, technology optimist. I really believe in the idea that through technology, through building tools that we can build as humans and help ourselves, we create a better world for ourselves, and we just have to be optimistic about what futures we can create, and try to definitely like move away from the downsides of technology for sure, but we should always be optimistic about like the better futures for everyone that we can create for men, for women, for people of all races. And I feel like if we are focused on building in that path, we're going to have a better future.
My name is Max. I work in cybersecurity and automation, robotics. All those things interest me. I'm also on that side. I believe that we've got such an incredible opportunity coming in technology, and if we use our brains properly and apply that technology properly, we will have another renaissance coming up soon. Back to you, Dennis.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so some topics on that I want to kind of bring them up now, and then we can kind of go down the list. So for me, did you guys see Kimi Kimi 3.0 has come out?
Yep.
Yeah, so I
Fucking
want to
crazy.
talk about that. But Max, let's start with your topic about the data centers.
Yeah, so there's been more and more data center protests around the world. Here in Canada, Vancouver had one last month. Um, and again, the main concern people are saying is environment. Despite the fact BC will have the most environmental data center in possibly the world, there's still people protesting it.
And so
What do you
by
say about that?
environmental, what do you mean? Like it's the most
I mean,
environmentally friendly in
that's
what
right.
way?
They're going to be running it on 95% hydro. So it's just hydro energy. And also, data centers have been under a lot of pressure on their water usage. So there's been a lot of claims that they go through a lot of water, but to be honest, I mean, it's a coolant, it's a closed loop system. I don't see how people keep complaining about this water issue, right? It's just a fucking cooling system. And then once you fill it up, you let it run. I don't
Makes zero
understand why
sense.
everyone's
Yeah.
complaining.
And so, I mean, similar idea like about the water. We're in France right now, and it's hot. And so they actually shut down, I think it's 20% or maybe it was 15% of energy capacity because they use a lot of nuclear because it was too hot to vent out into streams and rivers and oceans and stuff in terms of like taking care of aquatic life. So they literally shut down, like reduced power output because the 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 coolant water that the spent coolant water was too hot.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
again,
that's
I think there's different designs. I think a lot of the old nuclear designs, or even I want to say old data center designs, have a non-closed loop cooling system. Is this common? I don't know. Like, I mean, it seems archaic to me having an open loop system. It should be closed loop,
Right.
filtered, closed loop. The heat should be exhausted. I don't understand why there's so much controversy over it.
I
Yeah,
mean,
so go ahead.
no, go ahead.
No,
Okay.
you go ahead.
Yeah, I was mainly thinking it's like the yeah with the whole water thing. I just think it's mostly like a red herring. It's most likely people have a fundamental problem with technology and the change that's about to come, and they don't
Right.
see exactly like a path for them or a future for them. It just looks like something that's going to make the rich people richer, and then for them, they're not exactly sure. They're already feeling a pain economically, in terms of like, job careers, like the price of costs and living expenses getting a bit higher. So I just feel like any red herring possible, people are just using. It's masking the real underlying, because the first one was water. Then a bunch of studies have come out, studies from Google, studies from Microsoft. It doesn't matter. Like the facts do not matter when your feelings are telling you something, which is what people's feelings are telling them about, like AI and everything. Then it became about power. And now, like now there's a bunch of AI companies that want to pay for their own power, and they're even like doing like behind the meter, so they're not even connected to the grid at all. But then it's about the CO2 that's being pumped into the energy. But these people are using LNG, so they're looking for natural gas. So it's like it's clean. Like literally, if this LNG wasn't used for data centers, it would be like it would just be burnt off, right? It would be burnt off, or it would just be transferred to like another place, shipped to another country, and it'll still like it's still the same thing. But like people go from water to to like freaking power, and then from power to like it's
Well,
the
data as well. They're talking about the privacy and data. That's another one.
it's
Right.
everything. Well, it's like it's at the core of it. I think the reason why the West is so apprehensive is because like for the West, I'm talking about America, like Western Europe, and probably Canada, Australia. Like you guys have been in like the best parts. Like this has been like the part that has enjoyed the best of everything that has come in like the last 50 to 60 years in terms of like, this was the part that like benefited a lot from, industrialization and like, even like the internet age where you were able to like, export like your heavy industry, your dirty industries to like, Southeast Asia or China or
Yeah.
whatever. Like you guys were just able to enjoy that. So all you've experienced in the West is just basically this like flourishing enjoyment. And now it seems like there's a slowing down. And this next AI thing, you're not exactly sure how to parse it because you're like, is it only going to benefit like the richest people? Is it going to only benefit the corporations? And there's just a lot of fear. And that fear, is my opinion, is what is making people go, we don't really want this. Like, what we want is let's go back to the freaking 70s. Let's go back to the early 2000s where we knew, my dad had a car and like, we had the white picket fence, whatever, like people's fantasy of like what the past was. A lot of people don't want to look towards the future. They just want to look past the past and say, hey, my dad had it good. Like things were cheaper before. That's where I want to go. I don't care about this future. This future is looking a bit too scary. So that's like
Yeah.
my quick rant on.
Yeah, and
That's a
I
pretty
think,
good summary, I think. Yeah.
yeah. What do you want to say? What else do you want to say about that, Max?
No, I would just say that's a really good summary. I think so too. A lot of people are complacent, and a lot of people now they've grown up in abundance, and they don't really have an idea of where all this abundance came from. It was hard work to create this abundance, and you have to sacrifice. But they growing in abundance, they have forgotten that.
Yeah. I think that's right on that when human beings don't do well with uncertainty, don't do well with the unknown. We tend to, we have an amygdala, that's part of our brain, the threat detector, and it works really well. And it can turn almost anything into a boogeyman. So I think a lot of the data centers, we had one in Tennessee not long ago. There was a meeting that was about, there was a proposed data center, and it was partly the water. It was also the noise, which I could probably get behind on, like in terms of like, yeah, I don't want to live, a mile away from that if I'm going to hear it all the time. But I also think that like people do, so you guys know this, you've been around the sun enough times. It's usually not black or white. It's usually not all this or all that. And I think people wanting, kind of looking at the 60s, 70s, maybe the 80s as this, kind of like wanting to go back this in this nostalgic way. I think that's in part because, and I can empathize with this. I think in some regards, and I've talked about this before with you guys, like it seems like we're speeding towards a lot of things, and like we have this trajectory in our societies, and in some regards, yeah, and it is AI, but it's not just AI. There's a lot of different factors, and that in some ways, it's like for some people, it seems like we're racing towards a brick wall and we're speeding up. And I think it's not all black and white. I think in some regards, yeah, it's probably true that if we keep going along this path, we're screwed. So I mean, I don't know. I don't think anything. I don't think many things are all good and all bad.
And like AI, people I think are starting to understand it's just an amplifier. So whatever current course we're on, if everyone just applies AI to whatever they're doing, yes, we're going to accelerate the shit out of our destruction of our biosphere. That's an inevitable because that's what we're doing right now. So I think that worries a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah. So is there anything else on that topic or you want to move on?
No, we can move on.
And
Yeah.
so, yeah, so in terms of tech news, yeah, so Kimi 3.0 came out, and this is the open Chinese model. And it's, according to some benchmarks, it's even beating Fable on some things, which I don't know, good, bad, ugly. I don't put too much faith in them, but I think the point is that, hey, here's this open source model that's now tip of the spear or close enough to it, which is, I mean, that's a big game changer. It's not as cheap though, huh? It's not, I think it's $15 per million output tokens, which I guess if you compare it to Fable is cheap. But if you compare it to like Grok 4.5, which I've been building a lot with, and I know you have too as well, Max, it's still expensive. Thoughts, opinions
Uh,
about that?
So about Grok, I said the other time that yeah, okay, it's really good 4.5, but I gave it another test. I gave it Miko I put to play with, and it just fucked Miko up. I mean, it just created a mess. It
Grok
was
did.
Grok did. It was nowhere near as good as Anthropic, and I had to go back with Claude and fix a whole bunch of shit. It just took it off course. Yeah, I don't know why, but it just did.
Okay. Are you gonna have Claude or somebody else, or maybe even Grok, like look at it and say, okay, well, what happened? How did this go so wrong?
A lot of what happened was I don't want to blame the model because I suspect the models are very different. Okay, Anthropic really like we're talking about how it coaches you through stuff, it follows up, it's really forward reasoning. Whereas I don't think I've spent enough time working with Grok build to develop that into it possibly. Right, because Grok is a real naked, bare thing, whereas many models have stuff trained into them to make them more helpful. I'm not sure if Grok has that in, and that may be
Right.
why it totally wrecked my project. It didn't understand it, didn't know it. Where I don't know. What do you guys think? How is that possible that Grok 4 just wrecked shit the bed?
Michael?
Yeah, I don't know much about like I haven't built with Grok though. But I wanted to kind of mention something on this Kimmy stuff if you don't mind. Because I find it pretty interesting that like
Hold on one second. Come back to that. I'll touch on Grok 4.5 real quick. Um, I don't. So I've been using it. I guess my question to you, Max, is what are you or is Grok? So you've got Claude and you've got Grok. Are they in? Are you model agnostic, meaning you can swap one out for the other, and then they have the same tools and context at their disposal?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay. Because I found it, I've done, that's how I'm working, and I found Grok 4.5 to be, like, it's my go-to right now for the past 3 or 5 days. It's like, okay, I'm building with Grok 4.5. I like it. I got Cursor. I like it. It's working pretty well. And it's caught things that Anthropic missed. Some
Fable.
kind of yeah. I'm not sure. I couldn't tell you if it was Fable or not because sometimes when I start asking, have you noticed that if you ask Fable a question that it considers to be too code heavy, it switches to Opus 4.8.
Hmm.
And so that's happened a couple of times. I'm like, hey, work on this, help me make this better, and it's like, oh, geez, better not do that. Here's Opus, and then it's just all messed up. I literally like chewed. I didn't chew it out, but I told Anthropic, I'm like, look, today I was like you're just making stuff up, and you're hallucinating things. You're not checking the context, and this is why I've changed my subscription, and now you're on $20 a month. But so far for me, Grok 4.5 is pretty good. I hope it doesn't shit the bed on me because I actually used it on apps that are in production. And yeah, so we'll see. So what are we going to say about Kimi 3.0, Michael? Take it away.
All right. I think this is fascinating. I think this is probably a bigger moment than like the DeepSeek moment, the DeepSeek R1 moment. Because during the DeepSeek R1 moment, I think that was 2025, early 2025, all China did was they showed us that they were 6 months behind, or like 6 to 9 months behind Frontier. Like they were not even like a top model. Like,
Mm.
and everybody was freaking out, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, panic sell! The market lost $1 trillion in a day."
Yeah, Nvidia went down. Yeah.
Yeah, but like this time, China has showed us that not only had they kind of caught up, but they're also beating us on some benchmarks, which has never happened, never happened. And the market is kind of like, this is why I think like for example, a lot of people in the market don't even know what they're doing. To be fair, because like it's at some point it's just ridiculous. But like nobody is actually reacting to what's happening because for the first time, like in some benchmarks, China and open source models are leading the closed source labs, at least for the release model. That means like literally all of your stuff, if this trend continues, I'm not saying it's going to, but if this trend continues and they just keep on inching upwards, they keep on like just nicking on, because they've been getting better and better and better and better and better. Like slowly, if they just keep on nicking on the benchmarks that we're looking at to determine how good a model is, and they just keep on. It's one benchmark. The next release it's 2 to 3 benchmarks. The next release is 4, and then there's parity. It's like, how can you have parity from an open source model and a closed source model? Like nobody's going to use the closed source model if there's even any form of parity, because like all of these companies have built their entire business model on basically like keeping like intelligence within their labs and holding the weights. Like Anthropic's 50-60 billion dollars in revenue is just all built on like the idea that like they have the best model and you're going to pay them. If they and another Chinese lab that's open source that you can like freaking download the weights, buy GPUs in your house and run it, have the same, like the market should be freaking out. I don't know what's like. I think they're stupid, but it's not. It's not a matter of that. It's like this is the first time whereby like I feel like this is when the red flag should be sounded, because like for the first time the US government, the US Army is now dealing with a Chinese lab that is at least on some benchmarks on par with like Fable and even exceeding. So like that means they already have the Fable type models. Like what do they have in their labs? Like now it's not a matter of like, oh, we're like 3 to 6 months. No, it's like what if the next release we find out that China might be ahead of us in a lot of things. Like the same way we found out that they're kind of ahead of us in video production and video making. Like Gemini is not really the best anymore. Now it's like Seek Dance and like one other Chinese lab. What if we find that out in like code creation? Like this is a red flag for like the entire Western democratic whatever. It's like we might be at the beginning of the fairy tale of, oh yeah, the US is like a couple months ahead. It's just done, and this is the start of literally now the US closed labs have to like start fighting to maintain parity or get higher than the Chinese labs, and nobody's talking about this.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that's accurate, and it's like we kind of talked about Europe before we started, and like what I was saying about Europeans and whatnot. And it's similar because Europe's not on the map for the AI stuff at all. Like they're not in the game at all. It's really the US versus China right now. Isn't it? Is that accurate?
Yeah,
I mean,
sounds right.
fair, yeah.
Yeah.
They do have like a lab called Mistral, but like their lab is like seventh grade. Like it's probably like number 7 in the world.
Yeah, Mistral was really good when it first came out. When it first
It
came out,
was?
it actually had the whole world for a while,
Really?
about five
Like
years
2
ago.
years
But
ago,
now
3
it's
years
just
ago.
falling behind you.
Oh, so it's 5 years ago. Okay. I didn't even heard of it.
Yeah, but it's like yeah, with the Europe thing, it's just like they were not going to be participating in anything that was like that needed to be like modern technology. Like they haven't participated in anything that is like modern technology in like the last 50 years. Like they haven't like really been contributing. They've been chilling for the most part, and I don't know if they've forgotten like how they, because like I'm like a fan of history, and I read a lot of books on like history and all of that. So like, I actually like took time to understand how like they don't understand like when they were conquering the rest of the world, they were not like saying, "Oh my God!" Like when they were conquering the rest of the world, they were not inviting other people to the table. They conquered the rest of the world by just
Yeah.
being the best at
You
technology,
don't
and then they
conquer
use
by
the
being
technology
nice.
to just fuck everyone over. But like they're thinking like that we live in a different world right now where like maybe the US will like have some mercy, or like China would be a bit lenient. It's like no, dude.
Right.
If you're not leading, you're not on the table. It's
Yeah.
like if you're not on the table, you're like probably on the menu. That's how the world has always
Yeah.
worked.
And I think people, and this goes to individuals as well. I think we take for granted the fact that we're at peak humanity right now in a lot of ways, in terms of comfort, access to resources, healthcare, that kind of stuff. We're like peak. And I think people take that for granted. I take it for granted sometimes. And I think people forget that most of human history was a lot rougher, a lot more scrappy, a lot more like fighting, kill or be killed. And what I try to remember and try to encourage other people to remember is like we're living the exception to the rule right now, and at any time it can flip back. And you could say, oh, and that's why like America and guns, we got guns and stuff. People are like, well, why do you have guns? It's like people think Americans have guns because we want to protect ourselves from robbers or whatever. And yeah, sure, there's that. But do you guys know why we have guns, like the right to have guns in our Constitution?
Are you asking?
Yeah, I'm asking if you actually know like the reason why it's written into our Constitution.
Yeah, it's to oppose a dictatorship or a leader that wants to
Yes,
enforce it.
exactly right. So the premise built into the Constitution is that one day that it's not if the government goes bad, it's when the government goes bad. And I think remembering that, not necessarily about the guns, but that like at any time things could fall apart, and they probably will fall apart. And I think in terms of like the Europeans kind of just hoping that people play nice and play by the rules, as you framed it, Michael. I think that's a good characterization of that kind of attitude of like, hey guys, can't we all just like, sit around and sing Kumbaya and get along and like, yeah, I can have mine, you can have yours. And it's just like that's just not how humanity works. That's not how the world works.
Nope.
So it's
Max, did you have something? Because I
yeah. Go ahead,
I thought
Mike.
you were Max going to say.
Oh no, I'm just agreeing with you guys.
What you got, Michael?
No, nothing. I was thinking about like it was Kimmy, and then there was another one. Like my bad. I forgot. Like it was literally Kimmy, and then there was another thing that came to my mind after Kimmy. But I'm like,
So
oh,
you guys are talking about the latest models here. I've been playing with Olama. That was originally based. Facebook gave away Llama back in I think 23. Like this thing cost millions to train, and they just gave it away for free. Right? Facebook did that. That was a groundbreaking thing. I've been using it, and that's only 3 years old, but it is so frustrating to work with. It is so stupid. It is low intelligence AI compared to the models we're running now.
What are
And
you trying to do with it? Like, what were you trying to do with it?
what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get it to when I give it a voice command on the headset, I want it whispered translates it, and then it will then make a response to the question. And then if I like that question, I could say, hey, Miko, I like that response. And she will then save it in her database. Right. And so the translations are terrible. They were so bad, I had to pull Olama and substitute Grok 4.5 to do the searching through the folders and the files and coming up with a decent solution.
And then that shit, then Grok shit to bed.
Then Grok shit the bed, and yeah,
Here we are.
here we are.
Did you get it up and running?
I did. I went through and I went through it for about 2 hours with Claude Code and repaired most of the damage. But it's a really complicated project as well, right? Because she has two microphones and she has two sets of speakers, and she has a direct link between the live mic on her desk and my headset. So I'm trying to incorporate all those audio streams together at different volumes, and it's a nightmare. Wow.
Did you say you wanted to preview it and let us talk to it?
Yeah, I can preview it right now.
Yeah, let's do
I'll
it.
fire it up. Okay, so we'll go. Latest one is Miko. The last one I showed you was Miko 4. This is Miko 5. Oh, where am I? Sorry, I want 5. Okay. Tell me. Did you guys hear that?
I heard nothing. You got when you try reshare and share your sound. There's a little tick box when you
Yeah.
share that you got to share your
Try that
sound.
again. Yeah. Okay. Hey Miko, what time is it?
It's 12:40 p.m.
Can you guys hear her response?
Yeah,
Mhm.
sounds like a he, but okay. Not to
It sounds like a
misgender
he to
anybody.
It sounds like a he to you?
Yeah, what I heard. That was my first instinct.
Oh,
Sure, I am Miko.
Oh, it sounds pretty feminine to me.
Sounds to me like like an effeminate.
Okay, but it's
Taiwanese
Yeah,
person.
it's quite hands-off.
sounds to you
It's
like
about Miko being flexible and adapting as she
girl?
learns from users, especially kids. She doesn't define rules, but reads individuals closely for how they interact
You hear that?
best.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she sounds more
fucked up.
feminine now. It definitely sounds more feminine the
okay.
more I heard it.
But she's really messed up. Hey Miko, are there any jobs running?
It sounds like you're looking for the essence of Mobile Lab without all the technical details.
Hey Miko,
Mobile
stop.
Lab is a mobile mech. I don't have a solid answer for that in the project docs. Ask Max or try a simpler question about the truck.
Good, dude. This is good. This is good, dude.
It's coming, but it's
Yeah, exactly.
a lot of issues. Yeah.
No, dude, I
It-
can see it. I can see it. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. What's causing it to like lag? What's causing it to do the thing?
The slowdown?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't find that. I don't know why it's slowing down like that. Why its tone is slowing down.
Hmm. It's almost like it's this a speed thing, like the speed to the output, it slows down or something, like lags.
Yeah, like a processing lag,
Yeah.
right? That's what it's crossing into, a processing lag, and it's slowing down. Yeah.
Yeah. And what are you running it on? Like just on your laptop?
Yes, on my laptop. Yeah, Linux laptop.
What
Running
kind of
through
specs is it?
Whisper. Also, what is it? Pipe voice. Also, what else is in the stack? But, it's coming in, but it's a really complicated project because you're dealing with different sounds. Like, for example, when I'm talking at my laptop, I get the microphone input. I also get the input from the laptop, and she needs to figure out, she can't cue both of those. She has to figure out, oh, hey, that's a duplicate. That's his voice. And then just figure out the creator's voice. It's really complicated. Yeah, it's I need more powerful reasoning to get this problem solved because right now Grok 4.5 and I guess 4.8 Opus can't do it.
Maybe
Codex.
Kimi is the thing you've been waiting for. Kimi 3.
Kimmy 3, yeah, maybe that's
Yeah,
it.
maybe.
Eh? Maybe.
So back to Kimmy 3, or I mean, is there anything else you want to say about Miko, Max?
Nope, that's it.
That was really cool. I think, I mean, I could see it. I could see like the project coming along, and that's awesome, dude. Well done.
Yeah, it's 5. Thanks.
Pretty
Mhm.
cool.
So back to Kimmy though, I think the problem with or at least one problem with the Chinese models is that all data that goes through those models is going to ends up in the hands of the Chinese Communist Party. Isn't it? That's my understanding.
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
Not really though, because like if they're open weights, then they're most likely running on a US server. Because like for example, what a lot of like for example, if you get your model from I don't know, let's just
Fireworks
OpenRouter.
AI.
Yeah, or like Works AI, like you use, like they've downloaded the weights from the internet and they're running it on their local server. So that means like it's not connected anymore, unless
Okay.
like unless like the model was trained in a way whereby it like sabotages your code, it makes your code not like it doesn't have any connection because like it's just like it's like downloading a movie and like what on like running it on your server or something or downloading. So the weights have been downloaded. So for example, like everything's downloaded, and then it's ran on a US server, And that US server is the one that
Okay.
gets all the data. It's the one that gets all the query. It has nothing to do with China anymore. China doesn't even know who's using like the models. So that's like the it's definitely, unless you're going to like their website and like using it through them. But if you use
Right.
it through like OpenRouter or like a US server based or like Perplexity, whichever one you like to use, then they don't have any way of getting the knowledge because
Okay.
like
That's
it's
good to
open
know.
weight. Yeah.
Appreciate that clarification.
I don't trust Chinese. They have backdoors and everything. Even the hardware, they got backdoors.
I mean, fair, but how would they have backdoors if like they don't?
Well,
it's like
they would take your stuff, they would transcribe it, get a summary, and then ship that data, boom, back to the main servers for feedback.
yeah, but
That's
like
what
they
I would
don't
assume they would
control
do.
the server though. The server is like
Yeah, I guess you're right. I don't know much about that. Look into it and see, but yeah,
Yeah. Deserves more
Yeah.
investigation for sure.
it does. Yeah,
because
You
like
guys rem-
yeah, my bad. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, when you said don't trust China, Max, it made me think of, do you remember that clip from 2016 where there's somebody interviewing a guy in, remember the Hong Kong protests, Max?
yeah,
And it was right before COVID, huh?
yeah.
And there was this guy interviewing a protester, and the protester started talking to Donald Trump. He said, "Donald Trump, don't trust China. China is asshole." It was
Yeah.
it was the funniest shit I saw in a minute. But I mean, I think that's I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't think China's not a fair player. And you could say that maybe US isn't either, or anybody is, but
Yeah,
at some point you got to
that's
pick a
right.
side, or else we're going to fall into that same kind of thinking that we were talking about a minute ago, where we expect people to play by rules of fairness and justice and whatnot. It's like maybe those are not the rules. I mean, that's not the reality of the game.
I'm a little sour right now on China because, well, it's not China's fault. It's just the US's fault. I watched a really good documentary from Daily Mail in the UK, and they went over all the satellite imagery of the entire Iranian conflict. So they had before and afters of everything. And one of the things that got hit by the Iranians was a US radar mobile unit. Okay. These things cost $500 million. And the one in Iran was destroyed. They just took out one of the panels, so the whole thing is cooked. And then they only have 7 of these damn things around the world. So they had to pull one from around the world to bring to Iran. And guess where they pulled it from?
Taiwan.
Taiwan. They fucking took it from Taiwan. Taiwan no longer has their cutting edge defense system. And my family's over there right now.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, oh, I know they're not going to attack, but it's just that this would be the perfect
We're not
time
gonna
because
attack
their
yet.
defense.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw the other day that they declared sovereignty over the waters on the east side of Taiwan.
Yeah.
So it's always, I mean, that's one of the reasons we left. It was like I didn't want to keep looking over my shoulder.
Yeah.
When's the family
were you
due
living in
back?
Taiwan?
In a week. Pardon?
Dennis, were you living in Taiwan?
Yeah, that's how I met Mr. Noble here.
That's how we met. Yeah.
Well, you guys were both living in Taiwan.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we explored abandoned buildings together with Ashley.
That was cool. Yeah.
Holy.
Yeah, good times.
Yes. Cool. Yeah, but like on the subject of China though, I would like to bring my own perspective. So I'm not saying
You're not a communist, are you, Michael?
communism, democracy, all of that. It's just like I don't know, man. For me, I like to look at things more. So I'll explain where I'm coming from, and then you'd see things. So especially on AI, I feel like if you were an outsider, let's say you're not Chinese or you're not American, you have no affiliations. Let's just try to take a blank look at things, and you say, what are the different labs doing? What are the different AI companies doing? Now, you look at the state of play right now, and you're like, oh my God, the open models that are like literally open. Anybody can use it. They don't get any money from it. Are literally coming from China. Whenever China is also releasing more research as of like 2026. They're like, their researchers are actually the ones that are opening up their research. The US labs have been closing down their research. The US companies and the US government is now thinking of like just banning models and like just making sure that nobody has access to them again. And China and Xi Jinping just reiterated, I think yesterday or today, as of the 17th of July, that like they're committed to open sourcing their models continually. So if you're an alien and you come to Earth and you're like, yeah, like some human tells you, yeah, the US good guys, you know, freaking heroes, blah blah blah. China bad, you know, no democracy, communism, words that just feel like everything. And you're an alien, you're like, if you look at what these people are doing, like the US is acting more like China than China, especially with AI. US is acting more like China than China is like closing the things down. Because China has a closed internet. But when it comes to AI, China's the one open sourcing everything, and the US doesn't even have like any good open source models. So it's like, as an alien, not as a, obviously you're like Dennis, you're a US citizen, so I understand, and you know Max, you're a Canadian, so I mean I can get where you're coming from. But if you were to be an alien for a day, I think especially on AI, you'd look at China and say these people are definitely the ones that are more open and more prone to like actually like promoting like you know freedom in terms of AI and what you use it for.
If you look at their actual track record, objectively, you're right. It does look that way, doesn't it?
Yeah,
in this case, yeah.
I mean, just looking at what they're doing, for sure. I'm not saying, you know, like let's go down their path and let's say China is the best thing ever. But just looking at what they're doing in AI right now, and like what the US is doing in AI, like with Fable 5, they're like, you can't even use it to do what you want to use it to. If you're like trying to even use it to like maybe find out medication that you can use for yourself, they'll be like, oh no, you're trying to develop a fucking nuclear bomb. Let's degrade you. Like,
Yeah.
the fuck? So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what we have in ground right now.
Yeah, I think I think on that point, and if you look at it from that lens and that thing, yeah, there's an argument to be made for that. But do you think the development of these Chinese models is honest?
How do you mean honest? What do you mean by
I
that?
mean, a lot of people online seem to think that they're ripped off, like that, like DeepSeek, GLM, Kimmy, that they somehow, I don't know how, but they somehow basically kind of like I actually did read something about like they basically got a bunch of Claude Code credits and subscriptions, and they used it to reverse engineer like how the model works.
Yeah,
There was
I
a
would
lot of
say,
piggybacking.
Yeah.
My question is, where in China is this big X model being trained? Like when they train models now, like Elon's training in Tennessee there, like they got fucking gas turbines running, right? Where is this giant facility in China? There should be something. We should be able to see it somehow, right? Or are they just hiding it from us?
I don't know. I don't
That's
know
what-
anything about China really, in terms of what's going on in China. Yeah, I don't know much about that at all.
yeah, about like the training runs. I think like especially with DeepSeek and everything, they've proven that they can do with what like the US labs do with like 100,000 GPUs. They could probably do with like 10, 50,000 GPUs. It's like it's fucking beautiful. But at the end of the day, like they're just a lot more efficient with like the way they're like using compute. How, Lord knows, but like they're the country with like the second most like the US has like the best, you know, AI researchers in the world, but like the second country with like the most and best researchers in the world is fucking China. So they probably have come up with like, you know, like a lot of things that they can use to train with like less, because they don't even have the compute to train, because like Nvidia is not shipping there. The ASML has been blocked. ASML is the ones that like TSMC cannot even sell chips to China. TSMC makes chips for almost the whole of the world. ASML cannot sell. So like they've been blocked off in every way, and like they're still coming up with good models. To answer your question about distillation though, so like the idea of like is like, you know, the main labs create a model and then the Chinese labs like distill off of that model. That was kind of true when like the Chinese labs were like, you know, kind of far away from the frontier. But like,
So that
right
was
now,
true. That was true with DeepSeek, right? You can say that was
yes,
true with
definitely,
DeepSeek,
definitely.
but
But
now,
like right now, that like, which is why I think this is a bigger moment, because like, if your models are starting to not just catch up but slightly exceed the best American models that are available at like the benchmarks that we currently have right now, then something past distillation is going on. because like they're not just
That's
catching up,
right.
they're starting to exceed. So it's like, you know what happened in video creation. You could say, oh yeah, they're like with Google and like Seed Dance or whatever. You could say, oh yeah, maybe they're just stealing. But like when they started passing Google in video creation, like you can't be copying somebody's work that you're kind of getting ahead of, right? It's like that don't make no sense. The same thing is happening in like LLMs and then like knowledge AI. It's like yeah, for sure, the last year or two, yeah, they were just catching up and catching up. But now they're starting to like edge forward slowly and surely. So like in that one benchmark that they were ahead of Fable, like they can't copy Fable because Fable doesn't have the ability to get to the point where like they got to. So like they're obviously doing something past what the US labs are currently doing to be able to like edge forward. So that argument is getting weaker, especially when we start seeing the Chinese labs starting to edge forward. It's like you can't copy somebody if like they're behind you. So they have to be doing something. They have to be innovating. So there's obviously a sign already on the benchmarks like this that they're starting to innovate.
Right. So they must be training Kimmy somewhere on some big ass GPUs, right? With a lot of power. That's the only
Or maybe they
explanation.
don't even need to. Maybe they have less GPUs and they're just able to train better models because like they just are innovating in terms of like the algorithms and the research process they're using. Like that's where like better research and better, like ability to just do better with less becomes crazy because like maybe they don't even
Right.
have as big as the facilities as any of the US labs have. They just can do it better.
Right. So that's right. They're not brute forcing with parameters. They are using finesse, right? And they're building better models. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't I don't know much about that. I mean, I think that's a valid point, right? If they're able to exceed benchmarks, then they must have innovated on some way. I think a question remains is like if did they innovate on stolen technology? So like, yeah, sure, they innovated the past 2, 3, 5%, but they had to steal 90% of it or whatever percentage it is to get there.
Yeah, I
You
agree.
know,
I agree with that.
I don't know. I just think, I mean, it's, is it more us versus them kind of mentality? That's a normal mentality to set in, but I do kind of think I mean, we are in the AI arms race right now. Agree with that,
Yeah, for sure.
Max?
Uh,
Yeah. It's a whole different type of arms race. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like we were saying last week, you were saying, Michael, is like once somebody hits that RSI, the recursive self-improvement, then it just, it's infinite exponentiation in the blink of an eye. And
mhm.
I think, I don't know, like if we have to pick, does Moonshot do it or does Grok do it? Like which, in terms of like outcomes for the world, is there, if one of them's going to do it, is there a lab that's kind of like in our best interest that it gets it first?
I hope it's Anthropic, dude. Like I
Yeah. Me
personally,
too.
I like Anthropic, dude. I don't know, like I really want Elon to do it first, dude. I like Elon for a lot of things, but like for his like ability to like build things, I like that part of Elon. But like just for his I don't know. It just seems to be like I don't exactly know. I'm still trying to place Elon on like what his like most important values are. It just seems to be like something that like he might care about humanity as a whole and like preserving the consciousness of whatever. But I don't know how much he cares about like humans, like regular fucking people like me and you. Like
Mm.
I don't know how much he cares about your humans and like all people of all races. But that's part of another issue. I just hope it's either Anthropic or Google. Those are the people I trust the most, personally, anyways.
Yeah,
The
Max.
but hey, back to that. Yeah, back to Elon. I want to talk about something that's coming up that I don't think a lot of people are talking about. Is throughout history, we've been running our brains, our workflows have been running in a linear fashion. We build one thing, we build on top of that, we build the next thing. But now I think what Elon's doing, like Grok 5, he's not going to release it until it beats the AGI benchmark, right? 4.5 is out now, but he's running, everyone is thinking linearly, and he's running in parallel. And that's the new world. You can run parallel processes now because we have so much compute, right? So while 4.5 is training, 5 is also training, right? He's not building 5 on 4.5, right? So that's a major shift, right? Because all these
Okay.
companies have been, build the next one next and
Right
linear
on top of each other.
progression. That's right. And so, but now I think that they're probably using their most powerful compute internally, right? They're not releasing it to the public. They're not releasing it to retail users. They're like, holy shit, this is the most powerful stuff. Let's use this to coordinate our business activities and not compete in the retail AI market. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
So like 4.5 is a retail thing, but 5 is AGI, and it's, they're working on that on another parallel
At the same time.
tangent. Same time, yeah.
And so, which lab, if you had to pick one lab to get RSI, recursive self-improvement first, who do you pick, Max, and why?
Anthropic, simply because they took that stand on the autonomous weapon things, right? That's awesome that someone had to do it, even though it's kind of a moot point because everyone's using it anyway. At least they took that stand. So that's why I'm hoping they get it, because they have, I think, the ability to ethically or morally monitor it, perhaps. And I think that might be their niche, right? I mean, all these different companies are competing for each other for AGI or for subscriptions, but Anthropic may just be a leader in the ethical AI. So anyone who believes in ethical AI will subscribe to them. You know what I mean? Whereas Elon,
which ethics, but yeah.
That's right, which ethics. But Elon and Grok, as soon as Anthropic took that line and said, hey, no, we're not using our code for autonomous weapons, Grok stepped in and filled the hole. He said, yeah, well, you can use us. Right. So
are they using Grok? Is Grok?
Yeah, the military is using Grok. Yeah.
Okay.
For the military applications.
So I'm not in favor of autonomous weapons. Just like to say that before I get to my answer. But I hope it's Grok. And because if that virtue that I think we both liked it, Max, is like this truth-seeking virtue, is I think that has the potential to be a great good thing. What concerns me about not the autonomous weapons, I mean, I don't like war. I don't like people dying, anything like that. I think autonomous weapons are a bad idea. But I don't like the way that Anthropic talks about trust and safety so damn much. Like those are the hammers of oppression to somebody who says something that you don't want to hear. And so many terrible things have been done to peoples by the government saying, well, I'm just trying to keep you safe. I mean, COVID, for example, right? You can't go outside your house. No, you can't be on the beach by yourself with nobody around for your safety. So any kind of like Orwellian language, like trust and safety, I have an allergy to. And plus right now, Grok, I mean, in my opinion, Anthropic is dropping the ball. Like in terms of their models right now, I mean, and again, I feel so privileged, like a little brat on the edge of humanity, the tip of the spear of humanity and all that we have. And it's like, model's not smart enough for me, but it's like, it just drops some things sometimes. And I just can't believe it sometimes. Right now, my daily driver is Codex and Grok. So that's my answer is XAI, because truth is more important than.
Okay. What about you, Michael? What would you choose?
Oh, I said it already. I hope it's Anthropic or Google, but I really want Elon.
Why Google?
I'll explain that.
Yeah.
I hope it's Anthropic or Google, and then I want Elon to be like a great contender, like up there. I want Elon to be like top 3 always, or even top 2. I want Elon to always be there, because I feel like there's something beautiful about like him, like kind of being in the game to like kind of stabilize things, so things don't go like to one or the other too much. Because I'm a believer in like, absolute power destroys absolutely, or whatever the quote is. So it's like, I like that juxtaposition that Elon is always there to fill up. Like, it's like, he's always there to like, maybe like, cultures maybe moving in one way. He's like there to like just push it and make sure, there's another way to look at things, and he's bringing his own perspective in. The reason why I don't want Elon to be, one, because I think Elon is probably going to control robotics for like the West. Like nobody else is even thinking about it. Elon's going to control robotics. Elon's going to control the AI system. Elon's most likely going to control the orbital data centers. That is, in my opinion, too much control for one man to have. You can't control robotics, AI, and freaking orbital data centers. And like robotics is just simply the same thing as an army. Like whoever has the largest robotics army, like robotics factory, has the largest army. It doesn't matter who the president of the US is. And I think like these politicians are probably going to realize that in the next 10 to 20 years, that like it doesn't matter how big your army is. If somebody owns a factory that creates hundreds of millions of robots and they listen to him over like an elected official, then that person fucking controls and has the biggest army in the world. I don't think it's clocking. I think that's why Elon is so anal about having control over his companies, because he knows what's coming. He knows like there's going to be a role. Like it's sci-fi, but like I think it's fucking coming. So I think that's why power needs to be spread out. I don't want Elon to be the one controlling the robots, the fucking AI mind, the fucking orbital data centers, the fucking Neuralinks, the fucking like boring company, the transportation. That's just too much power for one person.
Yeah.
And with power comes corruption, and like Elon takes a lot of levity in things, but like there's just things that he does that is like he's just doing it for his own ego. And a lot of people might disagree, but I've been looking at him like I've been a fan of him since like fucking like 5-6 years ago. So I actually study him. Like I buy books and I read all this. Like I feel like he's been taking a lot of levity in terms of power. But to answer your question, Max, the reason why I want Anthropic is because like their values align with me a lot more. But I also feel like there has to be distribution of power in a sense, just among everything. Because Elon is about to score the home run on everything right now.
Yeah. I think that's a good point about centralization of power for sure. Even if Elon manages to be good, for a long time, well, he's going to die one day and all that power is going to be transferred somewhere.
Sure. And in that on a local kind of perspective, what you're saying there, Michael, is right now, Starlink is completely eating up the rural market for internet. They are dominating. Their plans have come down now to like $55 a month. They're giving away hardware for free, which I think is great because it's filling that gap in the rural area that both Google and Facebook promised to do in 5 years back in like 2012, and they both failed at it. And he's actually accomplishing it, right? So, but again, I don't want him to be so dominant that he takes out our local SaskTel, right? Or takes out our local ISP. So we only have one internet provider, right? There needs to be that group of 2 or 3 or 4 always competing, right? And I agree with that.
So I'm going to share something with you guys before we go here. You open for that?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Where did it go? Okay. Robot MMA. Not very good yet.
No, but they're not bad.
His head came off.
Is that guy missing a head? Is that what's happened there? His head's in the back of his.
I'm not sure if this is real. Y'all know?
His head. Oh my god.
So yeah, is that the future robot MMA?
Yeah, that's real steel right there. Wow, brought to
Crazy,
life.
huh?
Isn't it impressive how like that second robot doesn't have a head and it's still going?
Yeah,
Still going.
impressive and scary. We've all seen the Terminator. And if you
Yeah, it's
haven't, you should see the Terminator.
Dude, it's like, because like, the head is just where the camera and like the freaking brain is or whatever. But it's like, imagine like the robot uprising starts and like you're shooting the head or some bullshit. It's like, dude, that don't matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That don't fucking matter.
Yeah. All right, gents, I got to get back to the family. Good seeing y'all. See you
right.
next Friday, yeah?
Yep,
All right.
gentlemen, take her easy.
Take it easy.
Peace.